Welcome back to Live from Paris, where it's now time for Media Watch France. James Creedon joins me in the studio. Hello to you, James.
Good evening, Rebecca.
So we're talking about Nadine Morano, to start with, the former French minister, and Nicolas Sarkozy, of course. And she is creating a bit of a stir, saying there should be no anonymity on Twitter whilst using Twitter.
Yes, essentially, she tweeted that there should be no more anonymity on Twitter. Now, she is known for making a certain amount of gaffes on Twitter. So you would actually think that somebody who makes a lot of gaffes online might be in favour of anonymity or being able to delete your tweets or whatever. In any case, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Just to say exactly what she said, and I'll read it out. On Twitter, she misspelt it there are lots of cowards who insult people hiding behind anonymity. What gives me some comfort is the idea that it should be banned. Now, she's come out with this declaration before. Back in December, she said the same thing, except rather ironically back when she first came out with this declaration that anonymity online was cowardly and superficial. Her boss, François Fillon, had an anonymous Twitter account. Now, he has since added his name and his face to that account, but it was just very simply at F de Beauce for quite a while. So it is a debate that comes back again and again in French politics. Indeed, this senator by the name of Jean-Louis Masson back in 2010 became what some said the laughing stock of the web, because he proposed that bloggers should not be allowed to be anonymous. And why did he say that? He said because we should have a right of reply if, let's say, an anonymous blogger is particularly critical of such and such a politician, perhaps Mr. Jean-Louis Masson himself. He should have the right to know who has said that about him and to reply.
But to be fair, most blogs contain a comment section anyway, so you can actually enter into a dialogue with that person. Is that not a right to reply?
I think actually that's a very good point. You can reply to the person who continues to hold on to their anonymity, and anonymity is not something that was invented with the internet anyway. It existed back in the day of...
Books were under pseudonyms,
That's
weren't they?
right. So, what are we meant to do? Retrospectively take Molière and George Sand and all of them, all their pen names off them? I don't know. It seems like a silly debate to me, to be honest.
I'm trying to agree with you. A website that has been launched in the US, I think, cataloguing tweets deleted by politicians. It's got a brilliant name as well, hasn't it?
That's right. Here it is, Polity Whoops. Now, this is actually the headline on the Time blog newsfeed. They said it is the most amusingly intrusive platform for internet transparency since WikiLeaks. Now, the idea is, it was launched last week, they catalogue tweets that have been deleted. Now, that's the website there, Polity Whoops. For example, Newt Gingrich referring to himself in the third person. Newt is backstage, ready to take the podium. That stayed online about 7 minutes before they decided, actually, that sounds a bit silly. But actually, I think that was probably just an aide who tweeted for him,
team,
right?
Exactly.
Another example is John McCain, after Vladimir Putin was re-elected, saying, "Dear Vlad, surprise, surprise, you won. The people of Russia are crying too," because Vladimir Putin was very tearful. And that stayed online for about 2 minutes. So actually what they've done on this website is they've developed software to catalogue a tweet every time it is deleted by a politician of some renown. So even if you delete your tweet now, it actually could be a way of drawing attention to it.
Yeah, the electronic footprint remains, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So it is privacy online. It goes beyond anonymity on Twitter, or indeed deleted tweets, etc. It's right across the web. And there are a couple more stories I flagged today, Rebecca. One is on the Gawker website. Now, what happened here was a poor misfortune by the name of Nancy Sebring. She was a school superintendent in Des Moines. She decided to send some emails to her boyfriend, to her lover, from her work email address. Now, unfortunately, what happened afterwards is when they trawled through the work email in the school for another issue, there was a Freedom of Information request, and they came across all of these emails. Now, the school president got very upset and said that this was unacceptable behaviour because there were sexual references in the emails, but also just a lot of innocent stuff like, "I miss you so much today." And now all of those emails have been, or at least extracts of them, are appearing online. Now, I won't read them out, and indeed the more, I suppose, unsavoury elements have already been taken out by Gawker. But I just think it's extraordinary that this person was in work, exchanging emails with her lover, and those emails not alone see her get into a big dispute with her employer, she then resigned because of it, but the contents of that email are across the web.
He's become an example of what not to do, I guess.
That's right. And indeed, it's quite an interesting article in Gawker. They're saying, computers, yes, they could be seen as special work tools. So when you're using your work tool, don't use it for non-work purposes. But actually, computers are becoming increasingly an extension of ourselves. So what next? Are we meant to be restricted from thinking private thoughts while in a workplace? If you're spending 8 hours a day or longer, 5 days a week in work, you have to in some way give expression to your private personal self. And these were emails exchanged with her boyfriend or partner.
I suppose that's what the water cooler is for.
That's right. And, there are all sorts of... it's where do you draw the line? If she had sent it from a personal email account, maybe it would have been okay, but
yes, but it was her work account, so she got herself into hot water there. What is the solution to all of this then, James?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I suppose, well, some would say don't avoid erotic correspondence in work, I suppose, even if some would say it shouldn't be so restricted. One more example, Rebecca. This is on the BuzzFeed website, 27 completely unexplainable dating site pictures. Now, I just came across that while I was kind of going through various websites, and I will only show this photo because others are more recognizable. And the whole idea of this article is to laugh a little bit at people who've put up silly photos on dating websites. But I reckon they didn't think when they put those photos up that people who are not on the website, for example, anyone reading BuzzFeed or, watching Media Watch, would see some of these photos. So again, it's an example of where you think you're engaging in some sort of private or semi-private correspondence or exchanges, and actually it becomes massively public. So,
to be fair to them, they were just trying to stand out from the crowd.
That's right. I don't think they intended, I should take it off him now, to be ridiculed on BuzzFeed and across the internet generally. And there's a catalogue of all these photos. So I think, as I said, you don't expect when you have a profile on a dating website, perhaps on Facebook, yes, but not on something kind of more restricted like that, for it to become public.
But on Facebook, property. You can change your privacy settings, of course, can't you? You can make sure
That's
that you're
right.
not searchable,
and
the image doesn't come up.
Perhaps that's something also to look at on certain websites, just to see if your profile is fully public or restricted to other members who are on those websites. So
it's a warning
something
to
to bear in mind,
James, isn't it, about what we put out there?
That's it, and what can be picked up.
Thank you ever so much, James
Thanks,
Creedon. That was Media Watch. It's time now for a look at what's causing a buzz on the internet, apart from Twitter anonymity, of course. And we start with Spanish protesters' noisy opposition to Bankia's costly bailout.